Hello everyone. Welcome to IAS. Let's discuss today's prelims topics. Question 1. What is a zombie fire? 1. Zombie fires happen as a result of wildfires. 2. They are called zombie fires as they seem to come back from the dead. 3. After a wildfire has been extinguished on the surface, some of it can still burn below ground in secret, fueled by peat and methane. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is C. These fires can continue to burn all through winter, hidden under a layer of snow, and in spring as the temperature rises, the snow melts and the soil dries out, the wildfires can reignite and spread once again. Most people picture wildfires as catastrophic flames consuming trees and grasses. Ground fires, on the other hand, do not flame but burn more slowly and have the tendency to spread deep into the ground and spread laterally. The result is that ground smoldering fires are not only less visible, but they are also less accessible and require digging up and dosing with lots of water. These smoldering fires also produce more smoke because of their lower temperature of combustion. Ultrafine particles in smoke are particularly harmful to the respiratory and cardiovascular systems and can be carried far and wide by winds. Because of the slow combustion process and the abundance of fuel in the form of carbon and oxygen, smoldering ground fires can also burn for months and sometimes years. Question to India Meteorological Department, IMD, has recently launched the heat index on an experimental basis. Color codes used for experimental heat index are 1. Green, experimental heat index less than 30 degrees Celsius. 2. Red, experimental heat index greater than 45 degrees Celsius. 3. Orange, experimental heat index in the range 36 to 40 degrees Celsius. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is D. Green, experimental heat index less than 35 degrees Celsius. Yellow, experimental heat index in the range 36 to 45 degrees Celsius. Orange, experimental heat index in the range 46 to 55 degrees Celsius. Red, experimental heat index greater than 55 degrees Celsius. Question 3. Consider the following statements about Inter-Services Organizations, Command, Control and Discipline, Bill, 2023. 1. The bill seeks to empower the Commander-in-Chief and Officer-in-Command of Inter-Services Organizations with all disciplinary and administrative powers in respect of personnel serving in or attached to such organizations' establishments. Till now only Defense Ministry are empowered to exercise disciplinary powers over the service personnel under their respective service acts. Which of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Both. D. None. The answer is A. The committee understands that currently, personnel of the Army, the Navy and the Air Force are governed in accordance with the provisions contained in their specific governing or regulatory service acts, the Army Act, 1950, the Navy Act, 1957, and the Air Force Act, 1950. At the time of enactment of these respective acts, most of the service organizations were largely comprised of personnel from a single service, i.e. either Army, Navy or Air Force. However, now there are numerous inter-services organizations such as Andaman and Nicobar Command, Strategic Forces Command, Defense Space Agency etc. and joint training establishments like National Defense Academy and National Defense College, where personnel of the armed forces and other forces serve together. The committee in its report said that it also understands that currently, the Commander-in-Chief or Officer-in-Command of the inter-services organizations is not empowered to exercise disciplinary administrative powers over the personnel belonging to other services. Only officers of the respective services are empowered to exercise disciplinary powers over the service personnel under their respective service acts. Question 4. With reference to solar technology and application resource centers, *C initiative, consider the following statements. 1. Run by the International Solar Alliance, ISA, to a number of Pacific Island countries. 2. The program aims to boost solar power ecosystems in every country. 3. The overall objective of the *C initiative is to create a strong network of institutional capacities within ISA member states to enhance quality infrastructure, QI, for the uptake of solar energy product and service markets, particularly in least developed countries, LDCs, and small island developing states, SIDS. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is B. The program aims to boost solar power ecosystems in the poorest countries. Question 5. Chopta Valley, recently in news, is situated in A. Uttarakhand, B. Himachal Pradesh, C. Arunachal Pradesh, D. Ladakh. The answer is A. Question 6. Consider the following statements about Grammatophyllum speciosum, popular as the tiger orchid. 1. It is the smallest orchid species in the world. 2. Native to Southeast Asia. 3. It produces flowers in alternate years in its natural habitat. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is A. It is the largest orchid species in the world. This species is native to Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos. The plant was listed by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's tallest orchid, with specimens recorded up to 7.62 meters in height. After 8 to 12 years of growth, Grammatophyllum speciosum produces flowers in alternate years in its natural habitat. Question 7. Consider the following statements about permafrost. 1. Permafrost is ground that remains completely frozen at 0 degrees Celsius or below for at least 10 years. 2. These grounds are known to be below 22% of the land surface on Earth, mostly in polar zones and regions with high mountains. 3. It is defined solely based on temperature and duration. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is B. Permafrost is ground that remains completely frozen at 0 degrees Celsius or below for at least 2 years. The Butgaika crater, the world's biggest permafrost crater, situated in Russia's far east, is thawing, which has led scientists to raise an alarm as this mega slump already threatens cities and towns across northern and northeastern Russia. Not only does it threaten Russian towns and cities, but also the planet, as scientists have noted that the enormous quantity of organic carbon released due to this thawing into the atmosphere may further fuel global warming. Question 8. What are the key drivers of food insecurity? 1. Slowing down, thanks to lockdowns, economic downturns, and other pandemic-related disruptions in 2020 that led to job losses and reduced incomes for many people. 2. The Ukraine war, governmental policies that may not be entirely favorable. 3. Increasing urbanization that drives changes through the agri-food systems. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is C. Food security is defined from the World Food Summit of 1996, thus, when all people, at all times, have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. The prevalence of moderate or severe food insecurity in the population is based on the Food Insecurity Experience Scale, FIS. Thank you, everyone. Do subscribe to this channel. Use code SPLIV to join Unacademy.